देश है। विश्व में हमने युवाओं की आईटी एनर्जी के माध्यम से अपना एक रुतबा खड़ा किया है और भारत इसके बाद के लिए गर्व कर सकता है। दुनिया में हम आंख में आंख मिला करके बात कर सकते हैं। और ये मेरा साफ मैं हमेशा कहता आया हूं, आईटी प्लस आईटी इज इक्वल टू आईटी। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी प्लस इंडियन टैलेंट इज इक्वल टू इंडिया टुमारो।
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the second day of Elets Food Safety and Quality Summit, powered by Testo. I am Mrinmay Bhattacharjee, Assistant Editor with eHealth Magazine, and I will be moderating this panel. The topic of this panel discussion is blockchain and food traceability, tracking products to source for improved food safety. And we have with us Mr. Shirish Yadav, Vice President for Manufacturing and Technology at ITC Foods. Mr. Yadav is responsible for manufacturing operations, technology, and projects, and is instrumental in driving excellence in quality, food safety, hygiene, Industry 4.0 roadmap across ITC food factories. Mr. Yadav has 30 years of rich, well-rounded, and diverse professional experience in supply chain operations, technology, automation, process solutions, product development, and MNC organization.
Mr. Mrinmay, we are not able to, I don't know whether it is a problem with me or I'm not able to hear you. Voice is getting disconnected in between.
Hello.
I was not able to hear you properly.
Okay, I would like to ask my team.
Now,
am I audible?
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second edition of Elets Food Safety and Quality Summit, powered by Testo. I am Mrinmay Bhattacharjee, Assistant Editor with eHealth Magazine, and I'll be moderating this panel discussion. The title of this panel discussion is Blockchain and Food Traceability, tracking products to source for improved food safety. And we have with us Mr. Shirish Yadav, Vice President for Manufacturing and Technology at ITC Foods. Mr. Yadav is responsible for manufacturing operations, technology, and projects, and is instrumental in driving manufacturing excellence, quality, food safety, hygiene, EHS automation, digital transformation, Industry 4.0 roadmap across ITC food factories. He has over 30 years of diversional experience in automation, manufacturing excellence, solutions, and quality verticals of reputed FMCG and MNC organizations, including Cadbury, HUL, Sulzer, and Aker Solutions. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Sunny Chaudhary, Food Sector Head for BSI India. Mr. Chaudhary has 24 years of experience, 9 years in the food industry, covering aquaculture, fruits and vegetables, seafood, and 15 years in assessment and training of various food sectors like meat, processed fruits, and vegetables. Mr. Chaudhary holds an MSc in Life Sciences with a specialization in microbiology and molecular biology. He is an approved lead auditor for HACCP, BRCGS, ISO 2000, ISO 22000, 2018 Food Safety Management System. He is also an empaneled laboratory assessor with NABL for ISO 17025. Welcome, gentlemen, to this panel discussion. Hello, am I audible?
Actually, your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking.
Am I audible? Okay, am I audible now?
Yes.
Hello? I have taken off my microphone.
Yes.
Earphones, actually.
Maybe you can switch off your. Yeah, maybe that, or you can switch off your video for some time if there is a bandwidth issue.
Okay, so I have taken off my earphones. So, Mr. Yadav, first question to you would be, tell us how blockchain could, help us in attaining a quantum leap in the food safety and quality. How can blockchain bring a quantum leap in food safety and quality? That question is for Mr. Shirish Yadav. I hope I'm audible now. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I could get some part of the question, so I will just repeat.
Shall I repeat? Yeah. Okay. So my question to you is, how can
No, it's okay.
How can blockchain?
No, Mrinmay, I'm fine. I have received.
Okay, please respond.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I hope I'm audible. First of all, I think there is a lot of talks around the blockchain. I think it has become a buzzword, and then I think big things. What has really made this blockchain very famous is specifically, I think all of you might be aware about, because of these cryptocurrencies, or to be precisely around the all those bitcoins and other currencies actually. So I think before going into this, so just for the refreshing, what is really a blockchain? Uh, so so uh, so this is nothing but it is a distributed ledger, kind of ledgers we use, but it is a digital ledger, and there were digital transaction data that are continuously authenticated with each new transaction linked together in this chain. Also, the efficiency literally cuts out the need for the third-party processors, while providing transparency, efficiency for dealers, suppliers, and counterparties. So this data is basically, it is you can't delete the data; it remains there, and that is the biggest advantage. And so few points what Mrunmay you just mentioned, I will try to answer those. So first of all, it is whether how it can benefit the food industry. So first of all, blockchain enables I think there is some echo coming, enables industry in managing the food safety issues by making the system robust in food supply chain with basically transparency. It makes big firms like any companies, like big companies to adopt the blockchain technologies to trace the origin of the products. And this also helps for the organizations can digitize the physical assets and create a digitized, decentralized, immutable. This is very, very important. This is immutable. Once record goes there, you can't delete it. So it will always remain as a reference, and it is like a permanent ledger, immutable record of all the transactions, making it possible to track assets for the production to deliver to use by end user. And another area is about very, very important. This includes the secure handling and the storing of the administrative records. Digital authentication is there, strengthening intellectual, basically property, suppose anything IP related stuff, patents related stuff, as well as the bringing the transparency throughout and supply throughout the supply chain. And this will eventually is going to help hugely to reduce the food related frauds and enhance the food safety by generating trust between the farmers, retailers, suppliers, and the consumers. This is another bigger aspect is about is about the ability to instantaneously trace the entire. Basically, what today like consumers or customers wanting to know how, if there is any product is available into the market or the on the shelf, whether I can track back and stress that product instantly. So where it is made, basically farm to fork. Is there any possibility to detect it, get that authenticated records actually for the persons or for the consumer point of view or customer point of view? And today with like technologies like QR codes or any other codes can be used, consumers would have the ability to trace this their food products from farm to fork with a scan of the QR code. And the result is a customizable suite for the solutions that can increase food safety and freshness. I know that how from the farm it has handled at each node, and then it is reached at my place. So I think that is how that is power of this blockchain. It is a ledger, it is a digital ledger. You cannot change once records are there. Every person connected on the blockchain is authenticated person, and no fraudulent things can go inside. People can trace it back at the peak of. So without blockchain, suppose I wanted to trace back traceability or any food safety issues or any product issues that come up, I may need couple of days or sometimes more, 6 days, 7 days, or 8 days to trace it back actually manually. It will be very, very long. But with this blockchain, it is possible to trace it at instant. Means it is quickly possible to, because it is everything is digitally available. Also, there is a huge amount of trust. Authenticity is there because it is digital. Records are like you can't tamper with those records and all that. So I hope I have answered some of those questions. Thank you.
Am I audible? Uh, am I audible? Okay.
Y-
Mr. Chaudhary,
Yeah.
Mr. Chaudhary, do you have any perspective to lend upon this about this the blockchain, nitty gritty? How will it help increasing food safety and quality? Do you have any observations to share?
Yeah, okay. But I think Mr. Yadav already has spoken about the basic structure of this scheme, if I may call it that. Yes, basically, I mean, with the global trade increasing day by day, and customer demands and customer awareness increasing day by day, there is an increased need of transparency across the supply chain. There are several countries where basic infrastructure is lacking, specifically in the primary production level, that is from the farm to the processor end. I mean, over the years, we have grown in technology application from the processor to the customer. And maybe to the reprocessors in Europe, US, and first world countries. Whereas the primary production level, that is from the farm where the main product is sourced and brought into the processing, this is the area where, I mean, if I give an example of India, there are several sectors in India like the grain industries, the fruits and vegetables industries, the seafood industries, spices. There's huge lack of transparency in this sector. I mean, traceability is a challenge. So this technology, as Mr. Yadav pointed out, is basically a solution in your laptop. It brings the entire picture into your laptop. You open a program and it shows you everything, where what is changing. Every time something is changing in the entire supply chain, it kind of gets verified and included into the blocks with a hash number and all that, hash code and all that. So this definitely will strengthen the industry's control on the supply chain, which is the need of the day. In order to, because industry at the end of the day, their target is to meet customer expectations, and customer wants transparency and trust in terms of provenance, in terms of food safety. I mean, if somebody actually asks for a product which maybe Darjeeling tea, so whenever they're taking the tea, they should have that trust that it is indeed a tea which is processed in the Darjeeling gardens. So, blockchain can definitely give us a strong control over the supply chain with authenticated data and, of course, immutable records. And another big advantage is there's no centralized management, so there's no biasness. So, with every stakeholder being independent and independently verified, this definitely will add to the transparency of the supply chain. So yeah, I mean, if you really ask me about the food sector, I mean, BSI globally is into standard development. So BSI is also going into development of standard. In 2017, BSI had employed RAND Europe. They were commissioned by BSI to look into the development of standard related to blockchain and the technology application. And as we speak, I believe there's a standard on the making. The ISO Technical Committee TC/307 is currently working on development of a standard. So although everything is at a very initial stage, but it is definitely going to enhance traceability, as well as for companies like us to, it will actually strengthen our hands to verify the supply chain and provide a result to the stakeholders about its transparency and control, and of course food safety control as well.
Mr. Yadav, while applying blockchain technology, which is of course a new age digital technology, is there a need to adopt any other digital technology or any other technology in combination or in conjunction with blockchain? Am I audible?
Okay, so see today, yes, yes. See today, there is a see. I think all of us are, and we just saw the during your opening video also.
Mhm.
There, including our prime minister, and then if you see the our industries also, I think everywhere there is a big things happening around the digitization. Even now, I could see that SME, small and medium scale industries, big industries anyway. So if I recollect, and I think biggest, so I always see it as a blessings in disguise. COVID has hit us very badly, all of us, and it is still continuing. However, what has transformed, because this kind of events really transform the way we think, the way we act, and the way not only we, our consumers and ecosystem reacts to it actually, because this kind of situation happened, say, once in 100 years kind of stuff. So consumers has become much more knowledgeable because of COVID related aspects, be it food. They are more and more like wanting to know about the food safety, food hygiene, the way it is handled, and all those things actually. It has gone multifold. Now there are various ways of collecting data, because earlier we were working like getting some data. I will give some examples, like we have some frozen products, we have some chocolates and other stuff. So there you need to maintain the temperatures, no, very very important, because if that cold chain gets broken, and it may be true for the ice cream industry and many industries. I think during these lockdowns, again, what has really gone up from the roof is like a lot of this home, like ready to cook kind of foods, or ready meals. You just have to warm it at, or put the warm water and then do something, and then within few minutes, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it is ready to eat actually, kind of. So ready mixes and all that. So, and then many frozen stuff has gone, because frozen is still, I think, considered as a much more like fresher, because if we freeze the fresh products, it is a belief, and then a lot of science also behind it, that it retains a lot of its properties, and then nutritional stuff and all that. So I just wanted to give one example about, then maintaining the temperature is very very important. Our cold chains, the India still a long way to go from the securing the electricity, across the nodes, from the from where it is produced versus the where it reaches finally to the consumers. So very very important to maintain. So how consumer knows that, yeah, it is not broken in between, because if it breaks, we know that what will happen to that product. So it will lose its shelf life, and maybe it may go bad also. So there are technologies like IoT devices and other stuff. No, it is very much used in continuation of that. So now through the mobile technologies, you also track the truck movements, logistics movements, and all that. No, so that is also possible to do that. This is also going to come very very handy as far as the blockchain technologies are concerned. While blockchain is a ledger, which is like maintaining all that records, but how it receives the records is important. No, from which source. It cannot accept record as it is. It is like for hearing anything, we need to have our ears open, and then it needs to be receiving it. So we need certain things to receive the information into the blockchain. So there are software parts, programs, and many other stuff is happening. But also many of these IoT devices, many of these new some software programs and other stuff, I think will be very very handy to capture that data. So once data is captured, then yes, I think important is about, then companies will look into how it can be made more engaging for the consumers and all that. No, that will be another, because this also, as a it is a need of the hour for the consumers. COVID has made it very very important. Something would have taken, say 5-10 years to land. Now it is trying to land in within couple of years actually. A lot of hastening or fast tracking is happening across industries, I could see that. So once that information is available, so people can use, I think, many of these technologies. Another area is about analytical loops. I think many analytics stuff can be, because it is big data and analytics, no, in conjunction with this, can be utilized. And biggest thing will be like a brand building. If I am there, I am able to, and people are seeing that yes, it is very authentic things. I can build my brands around it, and then people, I can come with a stamp. No, so like many companies put a quality stamp on their product. It also can be like it is monitored. You can be 100% sure, and then a lot of communication and other thing, creative things can be made around it. So it also going to help a big way for the building the brands and other stuff. But I think these are the technologies I could see. I think IoTs, I could see some of the things through the mobile telephone related, no, SIM cards and other stuff. So those things can be very very handy. Third thing is about entire data, big data, and then something doing analytical stuff behind it, and then finding something, and then through QR codes, creating it more engaging to the customers, consumers at every node. So that could be the additional things can come along with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yadav. I have to check again and again. Am I audible? I guess.
Yes.
So, so, Mr. Chaudhary, I want to pose this question. You have 15 years of experience in assessment and training in various food sectors. In your preceding, comments, you shed light on the state of the seafood industry. It's very hard to trace the origin. uh, can you highlight, or rather, if there is a case for Indian seafood industry to emulate any other industry from the West or any other nation with regard to the blockchain adoption? How can we adopt it, in the seafood industry, for example?
Okay. So think I should start the answer from my last discussion. It's not only about seafood, it's about all the industries and the primary sector. So, what BSI has worked on and found that there are certain challenges. There are certain challenges in adapting this technology and implementing it in the supply chain. uh, there are some opportunities as well. I will definitely say so, but to answer this question I would say that in countries like ours as well as many others, there's a lack of clarity on terminologies. There's lack of clarity on terminologies, and the immaturity of technology at the bottom line of the industry. That's one of the big challenges that we will face when we are trying to implement this in the industry context. And also we have to keep in mind that the industry already has a way of working. They are managing, and there is a modus operandi in which they are operating. However, there is a risk that this is a very advanced technology which requires many new additions to the infrastructure. So if we try to adapt this too early in the industry context, these may disrupt the existing way the industry functions, and that can pose challenge. So there always will be a transition phase, and we have to safeguard our compliances during that phase. um, of course, in our country, I should also add there's insufficient evidence on business gains. That's another factor. And most importantly, how it will be governed. How can we prevent misuse? So although this is readily built to prevent any duplication or fake information, however, as an overall system, there has to be some governance. We still do not have any laws in this country or regulations which specifically monitors the enforcement of such technology in the supply chain. Security of data, there's another thing which definitely we have to look at. And of course untrained handling. These are basically the challenges we have to look at when we are actually thinking of implementing or applying this technology in our supply chain. Of course there are opportunities like efficiency gains. Once this system can be effectively implemented, there will be a huge surge in the efficiency of the operation of the supply chain. New business models will come up. You were asking Mr. Yadav about technologies. So yes, this is a very initial phase, and once this concept is applied, the industry will start innovating, and there will be new and new technologies which we know does not exist today will come up. That's basically what is coming up in the future. Of course, improvement of resilience and security, improvement of trust, and of course, from our perspective, smart auditing capabilities. Like we are doing audits and trainings, and I mean it will give us a huge enhancement in verification and auditing. Okay, with all the data, authentic data available at a point of origin or at a single source, that's going to be a huge enhancement for us. Also, BSI already is working on immersive audit solutions, which is based on blockchain technologies. I mean, if we now coming about this application, I mean, BSI already has some profiles like the BSI Verify I profile, which basically is a supply chain related profile, where a certain company can update their details into a BSI verified portal in the internet, where the customers can access the information. Then the Supplier Compliance Manager, or SCM. This is basically a web-based tool designed to facilitate and automate mandatory supplier risk assessment and verification programs. And we also have Screen Intelligence. It's a comprehensive supply chain intelligence tool, which kind of like includes living country heat maps covering security, food fraud, vulnerability, environment, and corporate social responsibility. It's a tool for companies to counter supply chain threats. So these are applications where blockchain is going to be very, very useful. Okay, and when it comes to food safety and brand endorsement, I mean, we have two kinds of certification: management system certification and product certification. Product certification is like where the product directly is endorsed through the certification. And in such, BSI probably has the only global product called Kite Mark, where food commodities can be certified for the claim and the brand endorsement. So blockchain is going to be instrumental in these applications in the supply chain. So to sum up, the opportunities are endless, but we have to be very careful and organized while we plan and design the application in our supply chain.
Thank you. You touched upon a very important aspect, the aspect of regulation. I would like to take this to Mr. Yadav. Mr. Yadav, you are a leading brand of this company, of this country. You and BSI. We'd like to know how industry is moving towards, making new regulations or the fine tuning the existing one. Are you making any recommendations or representation to the government to come up with regulation? I mean, how the industry is moving towards that direction? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks. So I think maybe before going to that question, I feel we should answer why it is not widely adopted currently in this country. What is that hurdles? While we could see there are humongous benefits are coming, and then we will come to, I think regulation is one of that. So I could see there are like challenges. So what is the adoption challenges for the blockchain technology? And currently, if you see, largely there is a huge lack of awareness of this technology as far as the normal industrial applications are concerned. While I think it is largely or getting popular into the banking industry, especially because of these cryptocurrencies and all that. And so basically, it is people largely know this is being used for the like a financial transactions, ledgers, and all that, which is very common from the banking industry point of view, or that kind of crypto. So still, I think larger population or in even industry per se, I think there is a lack of awareness. So that is one big part of why it is still not getting adopted. Another area is about the this is another inefficient technological designs. No, basically like adoptions into the specifically. I'm talking now from the India perspective. Scalability could be this also. Whatever I know about the this needs high energy consumption. So currently, as we are progressing on solar and all that, I think as we become more and more energy sufficient, okay, or with the renewable energy, I think this scalability will become more and more easier actually. Dusra, it is like a double sword technology, like transparency and all that is good, but also when there is a very high degree of transparency, there is a lack of privacy. So it goes 180 degrees each other. Then point about the security related problems or something like that. The skills, no adoption skills into the industry. I think that skill gap also needs to be mitigated actually by doing some uh, this design of experiments and all that actually. Then POCs, like small prototypes and all that. Some projects needs to be done at the smaller industry levels, and then needs to be seen how these are going to benefit. And then lack of regulations. So your point about then coming back to the regulations, while if you see the WHO and all that, because biggest things eventually needs to be, I think, going to be driven by the traceability. Okay, and traceability because of you see worldwide, I think a lot of people are like getting, maybe 1 in 10 person gets impacted because of bad quality of the product. Okay, somebody will just get minor incidents, kind of some itching or some bad stomach or something. But there are also fatalities are happened in across the world because of product getting bad, and then issues. If that industry or customer would have been able to trace it through these digital ledgers or digital technologies with QR codes and something, I think there could have been the large opportunity to avoid those kind of incidents. So if you see the from guidelines from WHO or the food bodies, food safety and other bodies across the world, I think they are more and more becoming vociferous, vocal about it. So in India also FSSI is now getting connected with other bodies, regulatory bodies across the world. So if that is coming in, I think some regulations will come in, but it will take some time. I'm not very sure, sure that because ecosystem is not yet ready. I think it will take some more time, and then there is awareness needs to be built, benefits needs to be seen. A lot of infrastructure related. Basically, it is a digital infrastructure as well as the power related infrastructure needs to be all the nodes, no, from the villages to farm to fork. A lot of those nodes, and that is where I think some regulation needs to come. People also need to get a confidence about their privacy and other stuff. How uh, non-required person should not get into this chain, so that how to like have a restrictions, proper restrictions for that. And then other regulations I think needs to follow currently. Frankly speaking, at least at my company level, we are not rigorously looked into it. Again, that is the reason that we are because of COVID, we have hit with many other things, and then we are working on those, which is getting fast tracked. So I think definitely as an industry, we are keen to from our sourcing team point of view and then front end team point of view, we would like to explore into this rigorously. But my assessment, it will take a little bit more time, and then that is where then regulatory bodies and other stuff, those needs to be coming in.
Okay. You during the course of your response, you also highlighted skill gap. So I would like to take that question about skill development and training to Mr. Chaudhary. But before I do that, I have a supplementary question for you, Mr. Yadav. Who will man this blockchain? How to ensure, or how to supervise that this blockchain works efficiently in the food supply chains? Have you got my question? Hello. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think your voice is breaking, so I could not hear the full
Okay.
question.
Am I audible? Am I audible now? Am I audible now? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Am I audible? Yeah. So you touched upon a very important aspect on skill gap, and I would like to take that question about on skill development and training to Mr. Chaudhary. But before I do that, I have a supplementary question for you, Mr. Yadav. How to ensure? Am I audible? Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote that question for you.
So your question is about how effectively we can supervise the blockchain.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, I think this is maybe Mr. Because there are many guidelines around this. So I understand there is a. Uh, I recollect some of the things I was reading, some stuff in the BIS and all that. So supervision related. Maybe Mr. Chaudhary has any point. Maybe then I can add afterwards because he may be able to answer this question
Okay.
more effectively.
Okay. So I'm taking this
Yeah.
question to Mr. Chaudhary. Mr. Chaudhary, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you
Am
are
I audible?
audible.
Yeah.
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 Actually, thank you,
So
Mr.
can you please
Yadav.
address?
Yes, yes. So thank you, Mr. Yadav. See, basically, this question is too early. I mean, we are not yet thinking about supervision. We are thinking about the design. We are still thinking about the design and how to apply. But I think if we discuss about the design, maybe a hint for supervision will also come up. So if you really see, blockchain design can be broadly in 4 steps. The first is basically accelerated evidence assessment. Okay, the information, the evidence, they have to be assessed. Uh, uh, but the evidence of the existing literature, the information that is already available in blockchain, as well as new information. So there has to be an evidence assessment first, and then there has to be the second stage of application would be a series of interview with the stakeholders in the blockchain community. So this is very important to understand the type or the gravity of the information that will be used. The third point should be internal workshops. There should be internal workshops where the uh, issues, challenges, and localized challenges will be discussed, highlighted, and maybe solution will be sought. And then finally, synthesis of the evidence to produce a final report. So that's how this technology can be applied. So, with regard to supervision, I think the f- I mean, if we talk about our country in India, any new initiative, if it is driven both by the industry and the government, then it is the most effectively enforced. So, I mean, industry and government has to work together with regard to the supervision. The industry, the stakeholders in the blockchain, they have to come up with nominations for supervision, and the government has to also carry out a third party vigilance or something like that. I'm actually speaking quite out of assumption, because we do not really have a structure of supervision which we can actually describe or define against. But this I think is what we have currently. And if we have to really talk about an effective supervision, we have to actually see
Yeah,
what
thanks,
are
Mr.
the
Chaudhary.
repercussions
I
coming up.
just add.
Yes, Mr. Yadav.
Yeah. Thanks. I just wanted to maybe, yeah. I just add few points. So one is like, see, you are rightly mentioned, because supervision is still little long range things for from our country perspective. But here we have to also see the steps involved for the blockchain implementation. I think first of all we have to see that, because currently a lot of those implementations are happening, as I earlier also mentioned, in the banking sector. So I think many banks are coming quite forward, and then I think a lot of stuff is happening. Also, I think biggest gains even in banking sectors also will happen if all the banks, you have like a single kind of blockchain layers and all that. However, for the steps for the industry perspective, we have to begin with a use case. Maybe I think, see, because people needs to get confidence. So by again, I mean, coming back to that design of experiment. So like we need to begin with a use case, then need to create a proof of concept, because then small proof of concept in certain area, then selecting the blockchain. There are many blockchains platforms actually available, so we have to select which suits us, and which is a win-win situation, which consumes less power and more effective for that specific application. And then building and testing the blockchain solutions with various hardware as a software things, run and manage the network in the production, then activating the blockchain entire system, and then selecting the right kind of protocols, so that we can see that along with the OEM, our supplier, so we can see that this is whatever we are saying, it is landed properly. So that is those are the things are quite important. So for the, and then followed with the, that is what will help eventually building the ecosystem, then designs and all that. So once that is done, I think a lot of this related with what question was about the uh, supervision and all that will come, because currently a lot of stuff that is being worked out for the cryptocurrencies, as well as the banking industries and all that. I think we, as an industry, food sector or any industry, because today we are talking largely around food industry, but it can be applicable for any industry. But food perspective, we are talking about traceability, food safety, and other stuff. We can definitely pull so many things from that. What is that effective from the supervision point of they have done, and then we don't have to start from zero. So that is where currently I think I agree with Mr. Chaudhary. We are far away from that. Maybe we'll have to start with how we can implement, how we can do the design of experiment, do some small proof of concepts and all that, get that confidence, improve the build the awareness. Consumers and customers should see the benefits. Okay, why that is required and how it is going to help. And then regulatory bodies like FSSI and other bodies like should slowly start pursuing the industry with industry bodies, how it is going to help, and then creating that ecosystem and then going forward. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I think we have come towards the end of this session. Uh, but before we do that, I would like to request both of you to have to present your final words on this topic, adoption of blockchain uh, in this industry. What are your final thoughts, or if you have any message for our food community audience? Mr. Chaudhary, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mrinmoy. Um, if we really see, I'll just give an example of SCAN, that is Supplier Compliance Audit Network. So it's basically an association of importers which has been formed to eliminate foreign factory audit fatigue. And basically, there are about 18,000 SCAN members currently. Several hundred audits are happening monthly. And it has become so popular that there are companies who are getting fake SCAN IDs and posing themselves in the internet as part of the SCAN. So we are looking at growing concerns of food fraud across the world. Interpol is working. Our global compliance director is a part of a committee working with Interpol on the food fraud and vulnerability globally. So there are several examples. If you see honey, if you see spices, if you see wine from South Africa, these are just a few products to name where when very conspicuous cases of fraud has been reported. Blockchain can be instrumental to prevent this, and we really need to come up with a solution for food fraud because it is an increasing trend. We have to stop that. We have to find out some instruments which will actually empower the industry to fight against this vice. And most definitely, application of blockchain technology will help immensely in that direction. Okay, it's most definitely going to help industry to comply with the regulation, meet customer expectation, manage business risks, product recalls, and improve customer satisfaction. Thank you.
Mr. Yadav, your final thoughts?
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Chaudhary. So, few points I would like to share about. See, there is a definitely humongous amount of benefits. What Mr. Chaudhary also mentioned, blockchain is going to provide for the food industry and specifically from the food safety point of view. Basically, it will create a lot of handling and storing of administrative records, digital authentication, and to strengthen intellectual property rights and other stuff. I just wanted to repeat few of the things what I mentioned earlier. But it is still in the nascent stage as far as our country is concerned, and especially from the industry point of view. It is largely, I think, getting adopted into the financial sectors. But few things I would like to mention as an ecosystem. If everybody starts using, so it is like a discipline required to run and manage assets on the blockchain, and is a good form. It is again audit perspective, no? So it is like really big benefits from the audit perspective point of view. We know exactly where it is. It can be auditable, and it records can be like a very authentic, and auditors can accept those records actually. But biggest benefits will come. It will be amazing when it will be actually enhancing the customer experience and helping the deliver a better product. So that is what the end game actually. If consumers and customers starts experiencing it, and if it is going to help the for the delivery of the better product. Another is important aspects about gaining buy-in, which is again another very important step. Buy-in from the external vendors, suppliers, partners in is very critical, and all of us you are aware, right, that it is often challenging to get all the parties on the board actually. So that is another area. And third, very important area is about using blockchain to track goods along with the supply chain. Can create a major benefits for a single company, any company, supply chain partners. It can create a large benefit. But my feeling, very strong feeling is that, but biggest benefits are going to come available when the whole industry works together. So if all the industry, larger part of the industry starts working on this, cost will come down drastically. It is like a sharing of things. I'll just give a simple example, earlier when telecom industry started, everybody wanted to put their own assets of the towers and all that. Now there is a separate tower company. You can pull in benefits. Similar things can happen actually. Many in Singapore and other places, there are utility companies. They do the they just provide the utilities. You don't have to invest. You do your own job. So similar things can be like a sharing can happen, and then that is where I think biggest benefits will start coming, and then the consumers also will start demanding it. So more and more demanding it. But today we are actually in nascent stage. So at least small scale, people should do with some design of experiments, some POCs and all that. I think that will really help bring in the awareness and all that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yadav and Mr. Chaudhary, for joining this panel discussion on Elets Food Safety and Quality Summit. With this, we come to an end of this panel discussion. And as a token of our appreciation, we'd like to present a certificate of participation to both of you. Can we have certificates, please, on the screen? Mr. Shirish Yadav, thank you.
Thank you
once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sarit Chaudhary, for joining this panel discussion. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Yadav. Lot of very good points.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Really
and with this also, we are bringing the curtain down to the Elets Food Safety and Quality Summit powered by Testo. Our next event will be on 23rd and 24th of September. That is the second edition of Diagnostics Leadership Summit. Please do join us then. Until then, goodbye and stay safe.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
विश्व में हमने युवाओं की आईटी एनर्जी के माध्यम से अपना एक रुतबा खड़ा किया है और भारत इसके बाद के लिए गर्व कर सकता है। दुनिया में हम आंख में आंख मिला करके बात कर सकते हैं। और ये मेरा साथ में हमेशा कहता है, आईटी प्लस आईटी इज इक्वल आईटी, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी प्लस इंडियन टैलेंट इज इक्वल टू इंडिया टुमारो।